Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. I am Raphael and welcome to the channel. Did this muted? No, it should be good. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. All right. Let's start this again. Always. I will figure this out. I promise you I will figure it out. That's why I'm doing this definitely early on in this channel's lifetime. That I want to figure this out. I want to get better at this. This is why I'm doing this, and partly it is kind of the topic that we're going to be talking about today. There is a correlation between what we're talking about today and me doing these live streams. All right, hold on. Let me just shift this up and down. I was setting up this new angle because I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to see how it looks. All right. So again, happy Saturday. I'm Raphael and welcome to the channel where our goal is to fix it in camera, finish it with me, and finesse it in post. And today I want to talk about comparing your work. Now, there's multiple ways to do it. There's a healthy way, and then there is a way that is not as mentally healthy to do. And I know that a lot of creative experience this kind of stuff. They experience judging your work to others, and then the better way is to judge your work to your own work previously and where you want to actually go. Thank you, Luis. I like the angle too. And yeah, definitely trying something. I need to maximize this 11 by 11 little office, excuse me, and make it versatile and change it up. That's how you change it up, right? So if you guys have any stories about how you've caught yourself in the past comparing your work to other work, and you know, there's two ways to compare your work to other people's work. One is where One is where you compare your work to where you want to go to, and you look at the speed that people are actually creating work and the kind of quality work that they're creating and the quality of just how fast they're able to turn around good quality work that you want to achieve. And then the other side of that is seeing work that you were able to do years ago and kind of going, you know, it's like, yeah, you could be better. And having that, which way? This way. There you go. That's me in the center. Better. So yeah, the two ways. Looking forward where you want to go, and then kind of looking back where you were and having that comparison of your own work to people that are kind of coming up the ranks in what you're trying to do. But there's only one healthy way to compare your work to any other work, and that's to compare it to your own work. Because I've caught myself in the situation where I look at even my peers within anything that I was doing. I would look at how their work is and how good their work is and how they were just effortlessly able to create that work, and it always makes you. Well, it made me feel bad. So let me know how you guys feel. Let me know if you guys caught yourself doing the same kind of things. It's an awkward place to be. It's an awkward place to be where you find that moment of like, yes, you convince yourself that it's going to be you're using it as an inspiration. You're using it to inspire you to do better work, because that's the kind of work that you want to do. And you get into it, but then when you put your fingers to, you know, the mind hand connection, it doesn't work. You're not able to produce it the same way. Other, you know, be it photos, be it video, be it painting, be it whatever, like graphic design, motion design, editing, even like music creation. And you have that moment like, wow, I can't do that. You find yourself in that weird evaluation of your own abilities compared to what that person is able to achieve in their current state. And it's always that block where a lot of people don't realize that no one is exactly where you are at that moment. And that's why looking backwards, when you see people coming up the ranks, be like, yeah, I could do that. That's so simple. That, like, the kind of work that they do is like, you know, I can pull that off very quickly. And that's a negative way to look at people that are learning and trying to come up on the same path that you did. So no one is at the exact same place as you, and no one has the same path as you. And I kind of found myself in that state when I started this YouTube channel, where it's like I saw people creating YouTube videos, and you know, in my head I'm like, that's simple enough. I could do that. And then like the moment I did my first video, because like I had this confidence, like I know how to make videos. But then the moment I tried to make a video, it's like, wow, that didn't come across very well. That it didn't flow as nicely. It didn't have that, you know, I didn't have any on-screen presence. And so it took me a little bit to get over that. But it, like, I've kind of prepped myself over the years, and it's become much easier to realize that I'm doing that self-negative talk and try to create what I want to create. And recently I kind of made a conscious effort to stop watching videos by creators that I admire or that inspire me or inspired me, because I'm trying to pull inspiration from other avenues. Like, I'll still watch videos, but not in the same kind of field or thing that I'm trying to do if I'm trying to get inspired by it. Let me know if that makes any sense. Let me know if you guys are understanding kind of the point that I'm kind of going on here, riffing on. And because I made that choice to try to find inspiration in other places, so instead of looking at videos on how to inspire me to make videos, I'm looking at art pieces or photography, isolated photography, not about how to do photography, just like photos and the art of photos. So I'm trying to I'm trying to look at graphic design elements from magazines. Well, what are magazines anymore? But like through digital branding, and just to figure out, like, okay, can I make a video based on that image, and what would I do? Like, what would be the inspiration? Or I'd listen to music, because music fills my mind with so much imagery that I can listen to a song and I can see the story unfolding of what that could do, what I could do to make a art piece or a creative piece, or even a tutorial on that. So it's a very interesting place. But I am glad you agree, Sergio. It's hard to see other skills and feel the gap between you and them. Absolutely. There's this comic that keeps coming up that I keep seeing. It's there's a professor sitting at a desk, and there's all these different animals. There's a fish, there's a monkey, there's a elephant, a giraffe, and he said, "Okay, it's a simple test. All you have to do is climb that tree." And it has a quote from Albert Einstein that says, if you judge a fish based on his ability to climb a tree, it's not a really good example. What am I trying to say here? So I'm trying to say that I am always critical of my previous work, because our goal always as creatives is to do better than the last piece that we did, and always try to improve. That 1% rule, like always try to keep improving on what you're trying to create, what you're trying to get to, what your goal is. So if you're always trying to aim for a goal, if you know that goal, then your mind automatically fills in those gaps and those steps. You know what you need to do. Like, if you want to get better at making videos, well, then you have to make more videos and learn those mistakes. You can watch tutorials and help you learn. That's all really good. But the moment you go, well, I want to make a video like that, and then you try to recreate it, and then your mind just goes, well, you didn't succeed in that. And then you're well, at least my brain, let me know if you guys have that same feeling, where you have that, like, well, okay, that didn't work. That didn't, I wasn't able to achieve it. And I kind of talked about this before, where I put the camera down for like 5 years from taking photos, because every time I picked it up, I always had this feeling like, I know what I'm doing. I know how to use the camera. And then I would try to take a picture, either a portrait or landscape or anything. And then it just, the image didn't come through. And I just felt like just so discouraged from trying it again. Even though I was working nonstop in the creative field, I didn't even want to look at other photography. I didn't want to do anything on Instagram. I didn't want to post photos because every photo was so perfectly curated and, you know, photoshopped and, you know, just color graded, and they all looked amazing. And I'm just like, so literally put it aside. I kind of had the same feeling with YouTube, where I saw all these people just making all these great videos, either short stories or just comedy bits or informational, and everything just looked nice and it sounded good, and it's like felt like they knew what they're doing. And I always had that moment where I know that if the moment I stop paying attention to it, that if I just pick up and if I pick one idea and then go with it without having the blinders on and just like that extreme focus, it'll help get me to that goal. And when I started this channel, that's exactly what I did. I locked in on the goal that I wanted. I knew the people that I wanted to reach. I knew the people I wanted to build a community with. I knew where I wanted to be. And so I knew that there were ways and avenues that other people did it, but it worked for them. And I knew that if I tried to emulate what they were doing, it wouldn't work. And I did a few tests to be like, does this work for me? Is it in me to make that kind of content? Like even my personality, I remember the very first video that I tried to film, I tried to Peter McKinnon it because, you know, it's like, you know, that high energy, but that's him. And it's easy to be him when it's just him. Trying to be someone else takes up so much effort, and trying to emulate other people's work takes up so much effort. Like if you need to learn a new skill to be able to use a certain tool, or to understand lighting, or to how to move the camera, position it, that's one thing. That's learning from other people. But trying to emulate something because it worked for them, and it's this weird place where even now I'm always kind of reminded just by the sheer numbers of the subscribers that I have on my YouTube channel compared to other people that have been doing it for as long as me. But then I always have to remind myself that like there's a couple of people that started almost the exact same time as me. They have completely different channels. They have completely different topics, and their channels started to go off, and mine is still growing slowly. And it was just like, why is theirs growing? Is it because they did this? And it's like, again, just that comparison. And it's just like the moment I stopped worrying about and thinking about that, because it always tries to creep up. Don't get me wrong. It's always there, where it's that thought where the ego comes in and it's like, that video didn't do so well. But one of the things that I talked about in the niche and grow video, where the moment you have a focus on the thing that you want to achieve, everything else doesn't matter. Like you make something, it didn't work out well, but you learned something from it, and then the next one, make it a little bit better. And there's always this, I don't even think about one or two videos before. It's always like the last video that I posted, okay, what's the next video that I'm going to do? That's what I want to focus on. And the further I get down this YouTube rabbit hole of creating my own videos for it instead of just consuming videos. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but again, just making that conscious choice not to emulate what other people are doing. Not because it's bad, it's just I don't want to use that as an inspiration, because I don't want my ego to have that opportunity to smack me down and say, you're not doing as well as you should be, or you're not where you should be. And there's a lot of people that put in so much hard work to create their channels. And all I have to say to myself is put in the hard work and I'll create that channel. I'll create the community. And if the community is you know, this 6,000 people that are here, that is amazing. I've been in an auditorium with 6,000 people. That's crazy. That's so many people. If I was talking to 6,000 people in one go, that would kind of, it would be very nerve-wracking. And I've seen presenters that do that, and they understand the value of having that core audience. Because even of those 6,000 people that are there for that presenter, only about 10% are interested in what he's saying at that one moment, maybe a little bit more. And so like, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, you guys that are coming to these live streams, I love it because the conversations, I know that you understand the ramblings that I'm trying to communicate and those feelings that are kind of embedded in us as creatives. And so it's a good outlet. So I thank you guys for that. And your community can be here with you on Saturday, I'm assuming. I'm not sure those keep up. I'm not sure those others can keep people interested as you. I don't know about that. We'll see. This whole talking to a camera, and I'm so glad that you guys are making comments and asking questions and saying things, because it allows me to continue a conversation. Tom Buck has this magical way of just being able to continually have a thought that just goes on, and it's a coherent thought, and it's concise. So I'm trying to get that, and that's why I'm doing these live streams, because I want to improve my public speaking. I want to improve my public speaking, period. That's it. Statement end. Because I was always behind the camera. I love living behind the camera. That's why I was a drummer instead of a guitarist or a singer. Not because I could sing or anything like that. It's just I was more comfortable hiding. And I guess I'm still kind of hiding behind the camera, because there isn't, 12, 13 people that are sitting right there and I'm talking to them. But even then, I used to teach a class. I used to teach an editing class, and I had 30 students, and we're teaching them advanced editing techniques in Avid when that was still a thing. But you see the reaction of people. So I like that. I like that we're able to have this conversation even here. And Roger is saying, so we all start at different levels. Comparing yourself to someone that's on another level is self-destructive. Absolutely. Nothing wrong to look up to others, but think the clue is to compete with yourself instead. 100%. 100%. And that's what I'm saying. There's only one healthy way to compare your work, and that's to your previous work and where you want to go. And this is one of those, there's the creative gap, the like working within the gap. There's a gap between your taste for something, which almost immediately takes off, and then your skill level for that lags behind by quite a bit before it's able to catch up, and then there's a plateau. So there's these two moments where your taste takes off, and then your skills take off. And so everyone works within that gap where just inherently by looking at something that it looks good. So when you create something, you know that it should look good, but you don't understand why, because your skill level isn't there. Why your fingers aren't able to manipulate, and you're like, you understand what it should be, but you just can't create it yet. And so there's that creating within the gap where everyone goes through that. You know that it's good, and it's going, and what it takes to get there. So you have to build up your skill levels. And that's why I always kind of hammer home the idea of learning lighting first, especially if you're into photography or cinematography or video work. Learning the fundamentals of lights is the fastest way to make any camera great. If you have a camera with a lens on it, you can make that camera great just by understanding the fundamentals. And it takes a long time. Someone asked the question the other day, at what level do I feel I am at with lighting? And the only truthful answer that I could give is apprentice, because I have so much more to learn, because I have seen the sorcerers that can manipulate light and how good, and it's like automatic for them. Like they just walk into a space, they know the feeling that they want to go for, and they know what they need to achieve and what to do to achieve it. And there's still some play. They still kind of mess around from, you know, just to adjust it perfectly, because there's still an art to the science part of it. So apprentice was the only true thing that I could say about that. Let's see, how is this angle today? It's a little bit different. I'm using a wider lens. There you go. Look at that. A little, still the colors are off. I'm still trying to figure it out. The two angles. All right. So again, the only way to truly compare your work is to yourself, because the moment you look at your past work, you're like, okay, I liked what I did there and I like what I did there, and you have those neuron connections on how you created that, and you can then build on that. You can skill stack skill stack on those abilities to keep going forward. And finding inspiration, we always need to find inspiration. There's always that saying where there isn't anything new. There's nothing original, just a remix of everything. And partly it's true. And when you remix stuff, new stuff is created. So there's always iterations. And all right, Sergio is a drummer too. Nice. But you can't use your English as an excuse. And I would just say, look at Peter Lindgren. He used English as an excuse for a while, and then he just kind of dove into it. And it's just one after another. And it'll improve too, because you actually force yourself to do it. Well, thank you. So you're saying that my videos have so much value information, better than 99% of others out there. Maybe. Thank you for that. I am just trying to share the thing that I know works for me. Like I try, especially when I do a tutorial, I try not to watch other tutorials on what other people talked about, because I know that it's very easy for that idea to get stuck in my head and be like, okay, well, they said that, so maybe I should say that. And then it's this weird place. It's this weird place that we all get into. It's nice to be inspired, but it's a whole different art to flow with your own unique style, which is always evolving anyway. Yes, absolutely. And there are a lot of missteps, because there are the cookie cutter artists that they get signed to a label, and then they write the music for them, and they know what works, and they work with that formula, and there's instant success. And there's a way, if that's what you want to do, that you can achieve success by mimicking someone else, but you'll get into that place where a lot of people find that it's hard to keep up a persona that is not truly them. And that's why you've seen all these artists where they have their one image that is perfectly crafted by the record label, and then they come out with the bad version of them, which is more, like a complete pendulum swing to the other side, and they're rebelling against that thing that got them to fame, and they're trying to go as hard against that to show like, no, they're not like that. And then after a few albums, they kind of settled into what is truly them, and the fans kind of stay with them over that journey. But they go through this huge roller coaster that just takes a toll on them mentally. It's a hard place to be. It's easy to be you. It's easy to be you. It's very hard to play a persona that is perpetual. Now, if you're doing an art form like this, like the one thing that I do recommend, especially for a YouTube channel, be the best you. So be the excited you, be the best neat you. And that, I think that's important, where it's like, definitely put the best foot forward and have fun with it, but make sure that it is you. And when people say that they don't like the way you sound, or they don't like the way you talk, or it's just, that really won't matter, because you want to find people that just like you and like the way that you're presenting stuff and like the way that you're able to communicate information that resonates with them on that level. And those are the creators that when I found them, they're the ones that I resonate with the most, and they're the ones that I didn't want to try to emulate, but I wanted to get my own version of that. And I definitely have found a lot of that creating this channel, because so many people that I do chat with, that I do have conversations with, that do participate in the videos, and everyone that likes the videos and comments, and like, I love that kind of stuff, because it's easy for me to talk about it. It's easy for me to get excited about it. It's easy for me to geek out and, you know, like, yes, get that camera, or like, think about it. Like I have these two minds where it's like, I want to tell everyone like, that's an amazing camera, you should go buy it. But then at the same time, I'm like, don't spend any money. So that's me. Like, I'm not going to just promote stuff that I wouldn't use. And I know a lot of people say that, but like, I don't like, that's why you haven't seen EOS R5 reviews or EOS R6 reviews, or because like, I haven't bought those cameras. I haven't gone out to even use them. Like, I could get one as a loaner to be like, hey, cool, look what I got. But I would only have it for like a couple of days, and then I'd have to return it. Like with the iMac video that I recently did, we actually bought it with the intent to keep using it. And those are the issues that immediately came up, and we didn't return it just because we just wanted to do a review. We kept it, but then we returned it because we needed something that was a little bit more powerful for our needs. And that's why I made that whole video where it's like, if you're planning to get this and you have this gear, just know that this may be an issue. It's going to resolve itself over time. Like, I'm using it right now to do this live stream. Like, I think it has a multi-purpose, and it's going to have a long life part of our, you know, whole system of what we do here. And I think it's a great machine, and it makes me more excited for what Apple is going to come out with their Pro lineup, with their, you know, the 14 and the 16-inch MacBook Pros, and even the iMacs and the redesigns. Like, I love that kind of stuff. So I just want to make sure that when I do any kind of review, I actually want to do a review on the Master MX. I have this one, and I have another one. Like, I want to do a review on these because of how useful they are for editing. So it's still in line with what we're trying to accomplish, which is how much it works for me. Because for the longest time I was using this mouse because I was like, it's fine, I can use this mouse. The only thing that I needed was a middle mouse button to do 3D work, but I found a workaround around like a keyboard shortcut that I was able to use. So then I picked up this mouse, the Logitech MX Master, and immediately reconfigured everything and am using it. And I watched a whole bunch of reviews on it, and people liked it. But when I got my hands on it, I was able to actually see, oh, how can I use it? And how does it speed up my workflow? That's one of the things that I like. That's what I like sharing. It's like, this really helped me, guys. That's the kind of stuff that I want to share. I don't know what that means. Hello, Fight More Films. Hi from Florida. Do you still do a lot of VFX work? What's your programs? What's your go-to programs? Mocha, AE. Will you ever do VFX content? Simple answer is yes, I still do visual effects. I do a lot of work for, let's see if I can bring it up. I do a lot of work for the good guys at Mad Micro. Give me 1 second. see if I can pull this up. Yeah, so I do a lot of work for, oops. I do a lot of work for these guys. Make sure that. So this is the main work that I do. I do work a lot of work with these guys. Not so much the CG, the 3D animation stuff. I do more of the compositing, all the motion graphics for them, and definitely visual effects, all the editing. That's my role with Mad Microbe. These guys are just insanely talented. So I'm so glad to be part of their team and doing some amazing work with them. This is their public show reel. So it's not something I can't do tutorials on any of this kind of stuff. I can't talk about it. So that's why I kind of stay away from this kind of work on my channel, because I don't want to recreate on something that is I don't want to have to recreate something that's already so polished, because this stuff looks great. I'd love to be able to be like, hey, this is how we did this, but that is a no-go for now. And so busy doing that kind of stuff. Anyways, so I'm going to get out of that. Blam. Yes, the camera does change the color. Because they're two separate cameras and they have two separate LUTs. So I'm still trying to figure out how best I can create my own LUT for this. But we'll figure it out slowly but surely. And I can dedicate some time to just figure that part out. That would be good. Yeah, this one feels a little bit flat comparatively. So to further answer your question, yeah, I use Mocha a lot. I use After Effects. We use Fusion. We do a lot of color correction in a lot of programs, actually, depending on the project. We do Cinema 4D and Houdini are the two main 3D programs that they use, and they do a lot of great work. I would say they're one of the best companies, top three for medical animation. So again, just I'm super proud and honored to be part of that team. What else? What other programs do we use? Yeah, Fusion, After Effects. I did a lot of Nuke and Smoke work before they kind of Smoke before Apple killed it, and Nuke is just too expensive. And if I was working on a larger team on visual effects work, I talked about the film that I did the visual effects for, Medium Raw, last week. That was my what's on the shelf. Oh, do you guys see Bats and Soups over here? Did you guys watch Zack Snyder's Justice League? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you guys think? Do you guys enjoy it? The 4-hour behemoth. It took us 2 days to watch it because we couldn't do it all in one sitting. Even though we were intrigued, we enjoyed it. Do I think photography is dead? No, not at all. I actually think it's going to accelerate. There's this whole shift away from SLR photography to kind of point and shoot photography, and there was this huge surge in the 2000s, and everything went smaller, and then the iPhone came out, and all of a sudden people wanted to have better photography. And then people that did still use DSLRs, they were the ones that were getting all the attention, not the small Happy Snaps thing. I always saw Happy Snaps cameras as the disposable cameras that you would find at like Niagara Falls, where you would just buy it, roll it up, take a couple snaps, and then get it developed and then throw away the camera. That's what Happy Snaps is, where it's just people they're constantly taking pictures, where they have it. Your iPhone is that if you just want to capture that moment in the moment. But photography, I actually think a lot of people it's going to ramp up again, and a lot more people. It's a powerful skill to have, and it's a powerful understanding to to know how to do. It's like public speaking. That's why I wanted to do this, these live streams. That's why I wanted to make the YouTube channel, because it's one of those skills that not a lot of people want to do, and then the people that are able to do it better, they're able to do their whole jobs better because they're able to communicate. And that's actually one of my favorite things about the career that I've had. Because I started in photography, then wanted to be a cinematographer, but then that moved into I wanted to direct my own film, but that led into me editing my own film, which then I edited a few other people's film. And then I wanted to create title sequence and visual effects for my film. And then other people wanted me to do that because they saw that I was able to do that. And I was just learning it kind of in my room by myself, just because there was a need for it. So need is definitely one of those things. But I always go back to photography as the base, because understanding lighting helps with everything else down the career path that I took. The fundamental of lighting helped shape the cinematography, the editing, the directing, the visual effects, the 3D animation. All the lighting fundamentals are the same in all those aspects. So like if you want to create a mood, but you're directing, and it's like you don't want a high key light comedy kind of look where you want an emotional scene. So you need to be able to understand that, not only understand that, but be able to communicate that to the director of photography. And then also to be able to communicate that to the colorist, to communicate that to the editor, and the whole aspect of being able to communicate to all these disciplines in a cohesive and very clear way. And if they ask you a question, to understand what they're asking you and give them the answer that will help achieve the goal that you're kind of going for. So I actually think that because of Instagram, the success of Instagram, so many more people picked up a camera, that it is, I love that so many people are going down the photography path. I think photography is just going to become easier to achieve. That's where AI is going to come in. That's where this computational photography, where a lot of the guesswork is going to be taken out, where the phone or the editing software is going to allow you to understand, or it's going to understand what you're trying to achieve based on the kind of composition. It'll give you choices. Do you want to do it like this? Do you want to do it like that? It'll expose it. It'll know the skin tones need to be around between this and that to expose properly. So it'll be able to, and then it'll color correct it based on everything. You'll be able to go through a couple of choices like filters almost, but it'll be using the raw equivalent of a photo instead of a JPEG that you're trying to slap a LUT onto. So I actually think video work and photography it's just going to get better, and it's going to become easier, but the fundamentals are still going to be as equally important. An AI, the camera won't tell you where to put the camera. The AI won't tell you where to position the physical light in the space. The camera is not going to get you out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning to get that sunrise. That's where that passion part comes in. That's where the passion is essential to photography. But I think a lot more better quality photos are going to be coming down the path. And so Instagram is this double-edged sword. I love that it did all these things for the creative photography community, and it pushed a lot of companies to excel and innovate. But it also did that whole comparing your work, not only your work, but comparing your life to what you're seeing in a curated thing. It's like you see how people are doing, where they're in their life, but you know that it's all curated, but a lot of people don't, and it's this weird balance. If you guys are here already, make sure you give me a thumbs up for doing these live streams and trying to improve my skills of getting better with live streams. All right. Hello, Christian from Ireland. I'm glad that you guys are able to join me from Europe, because I was getting a lot of heat from you guys saying my live streams are too late. But then a few people were here in North America were saying that I was I was doing them too early because they're still getting off of work, or they're still in school or something like that. So can't win them all. That's why I chose to do it on Saturday this week to see how it goes. Because I missed Thursday because there was deliveries and a lot of work that had to get delivered and done for Thursday, and a lot of work. Busy. All right. Yes, we really enjoyed it, and I've watched Justice League, Whedon's Justice League, a few times, and it was always that like something just. It's like, I enjoy Batman and Superman. I would say that Superman is probably one of my favorite comic book heroes. So I was excited for the movie, but it just didn't feel right. Definitely enjoyed this. Like there was this, because of the 2 hours of extra footage, it's like, wow, like the story just feels so much more expanded, and they definitely played up how powerful Steppenwolf was to just the basic the team without Superman. But then if he's so powerful, but he's scared of Darkseid or however you say his name, it's an interesting. I want to see more, and I think there's going to be a lot of clamoring to see more in that. Have I used Luminar AI? No, not yet. But I've seen how it works. I know I will try it out. I know I will get to it. Just not there yet I don't do enough photography to play around with it yet. So, but I'm definitely interested. And I know that Apple is going to come up with something as well. So I'm curious what they're going to do. I'm not saying that it's going to be better or anything like that. I just know that they're already working on the computational part of it. So once they're able to extract that, and I'm hoping that Canon or Sony are able to implement their own computational photography into their systems, which is what's going to make photography so much more enjoyable. So instead of knowing the fine-tuned buttons, you're going to be able to focus on checking the frame and fixing it in camera without having the technical, because there's the technical and art side part of it. But I will definitely check it out. I want to explore it. I want to explore all that stuff. Great. So Fight More Films says, yes, above all else, learning lighting changed everything for me. 100%. It's such a powerful, fundamental. I know that there's a few people that keep saying buy lights and do all these different things, but like learn lighting, then buy lights, then buy buy better lenses, and then upgrade your camera body. That's the order that I would recommend it. Learning the fundamentals will make any camera great. So what's my opinion on Kyle Cooper's movie titles, which are non-digital, are created with cameras, not graphic applications? I can't say I know who Kyle Cooper is, but I know what you're talking about, where creating optical titles. G-Monk also does this. A lot of the artwork that he does is physical. He moved into that. He created a lot of physical artworks, especially the Windows screen where all the lights are coming through. Yeah, I need to learn white balancing on two different cameras that are live streaming at the exact same time. My background is not live streaming productions. This is where having the same brand and the same exact camera, you'll get the exact same image. So I should take my own advice, but I don't want to spend money, so I'm going to take my own advice. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. So yeah, just going back to the non-digital thing, I think there's a talent and a way of seeing, a way of creating non-digital or optical versions of stuff that looks like it's created digitally. It's the same reason why everyone loved the way that the Mandalorian ship looked so good, is because they used a physical miniature in all those flying scenes in the Mandalorian first season and a lot of the second season. You say it like you say dark side in Star Wars. That's right. So dark seed. I'm just kidding. All right. Israel, hello. I've been watching your color grading vids and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Still can't get smooth skin color. Canon M50 with 2 Redox 60 lights. With soft fills, please help. That's an interesting thing. I'd have to see what you're doing. Find me on Instagram and ping me there, and we'll continue that conversation a little bit more. Yeah, the lens isn't going to really matter. Actually, Roger in the chat, he uses the M50. Correct me if I'm wrong, Roger, but you use the M50, so you would know maybe how to help in that situation well. But yeah, definitely ping me on Instagram, and we'll get that sorted. We'll help you out. We'll make it look nice. Yep. Learn lighting and white balance. There's so many times that I've received footage from clients that the white balance is just all over the place because the cameras were set to auto white balance, and they're like, you know, all the colors are whacked from shot to shot, and like because they had the sun coming in and there was a shade, and it's just like, there's a lot of work that always has to go into, but knowing how to fix that kind of stuff is also good. But sometimes you can't be there and you have to fix it in post, or finesse it in post, I would say. So once again, we as creative need to stop comparing our creative work to other people's creative work, because it causes a lot of frustration, and it's frustration that always comes out of the need to want to create that is similar to what you've seen, and you know in your mind's eye how good it should look, how it should be presented, how it should feel. And I've gotten to that same place where I would create something and have an idea because I saw someone else do it very well, that it's we need to make sure that it doesn't frustrate us. It doesn't give us that urge to just give up on creating because someone else saw it or was able to do it a little bit better. And the more that we can understand that there's a difference between being inspired and modeling the way we want to go, because it is genuine to the way we want to create, that's the best way to improve your skills. Because mimicking someone's work with the intention to improve your skills, knowing that it's going to look a little bit different, that's a good place to be. That's a great place to be in a creative life cycle at any point, because you're going to be able to create better work through you than trying to create someone else's work through you. And it's going back to the same thing. It's easy to be you, and it's really hard to mimic someone else. Oh, so Cooper, he did the 7 titles. Okay. I knew the name sounded familiar, but I was just like, couldn't remember. But yes, absolutely. I like, wasn't that also Imaginary Creatures? Doesn't he work for them, or didn't he work for them? Because they do some amazing amazing opening title sequences. Some of the best. Imaginary Creatures. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Oh, so before we go, I'm going to tell you something, as always, something that is on that shelf and what it means. So this week, we're going to talk about this. And yes, this is an actual beer can from Budweiser that is branded Metallica. This was for an activation that we did. We got to work with some. It was a hologram activation that we did, and this was one of the products that we used as as a hologram that it was spinning and all crazy. And yeah, it was a kind of, it's a nice memory of doing that project. So it was a collaboration, Budweiser and Metallica. Had some fun, and I don't think this was ever sold. It was just created for the event. But yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think I'll ever open because it'll probably taste like horse goodness. What is it? Yeah, 5%. It's legit and recyclable and everything. All right, so that's what we got for that. All right. So I am going to, oh no. Oh, oops. I don't know what happened there. Where's my camera? There it is. All right, guys. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me on a Saturday. As always, thanks for watching. Give this live stream a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll talk to you next week. Have a great one. Bye for now.